But I gotta tell you, C-Money, the expectations that I have for this June are even higher than last year's before I actually was ass in seat watching everything transpire. And the reason why that is this. Xbox has had, in my opinion, a string of amazing years of content, but nothing like they've delivered so far in 2025. Like, you go back to 2023, you had Starfield, and I don't care. You're never going to paint a picture for me that you say Starfield's a bad game. If you think so, then that's your problem. But I think Starfield is freaking brilliant. You also had the new Motorsport and a ton of other games. Again, you did have a game come out, like you mentioned it, Redfall. Not the greatest of games. Okay, sure. If you didn't like it, I hear you. I put over 80 hours into it, and I rolled 3 characters. I really liked it. Was it?
It's much better now too. So.
Yeah, it's even better now with the last update. But it doesn't take away from the fact that that game kind of killed the studio. Okay, so that was sad to see that happen. 24 last year, banger of a year. 2025, even more, and we're only at the 5-month mark. See, that is what's crazy. We're at the 5-month mark of 25.
It's already the best gaming year of like the past years.
There you go.
In 5 months, bro.
With that said, here we are rolling into the June event, which is happening on the 8th. And look, I've talked about this publicly. Every time I've talked to someone about the show, even though I get nothing, and I literally mean I have not one scoop I could offer you outside of the fact that they're saying, at least the people that I've talked to, this is going to be a bigger show than last year. And the other thing that I heard is Xbox is taking security on this thing super serious, and they're keeping it way close to the vest. There are only a handful of people that know what's going to be at this showcase. So that tells me that, there's probably going to be a couple of surprises there. And again, I'm going based on what I have heard. It is going to be even bigger than last year. And I'm going to be honest, I can't fathom that because last year's was the best Xbox show. I would even dare say it's probably one of the best gaming shows in the past 20 years. Like, if you walked away from that showcase and you were unimpressed, then you're just not a gamer. Because everything that they showed at that showcase blew the audience away. And I was one of those audience members.
And they delivered.
Delivered.
Look at Claire Expedition 33 was on that stage, right?
Yep.
And then look at what we got from it, right? What a fantastic.
So, you know what? Let's roll right into your thoughts, man. First of all, what are your personal expectations for the showcase based on what we know? And we don't know a lot, but I want to kind of take another additional nugget of information and ask you personally, what is the one game that may or may not have already been announced that you need to be at this showcase?
Okay. If anybody who's watching knows me, and I see a lot of you in there that do, then the answer should be easy for you to know. It's that dude right there. That's right. I need to see the Chief, baby. Give me the next Halo at the show, the remake, whatever you're doing. I don't care. Chief needs to be on that stage. It's go time, baby. All right. I want to see it. I'm ready to see it. Goddamn, I need it. It's like, listen, this is the thing that happens to me, right? So we got Infinite. Infinite was amazing. Loved it. My favorite Halo. Okay. Yep. Loved it. So good. And now it's been some years, right? Some years. And we have great games coming out. Beautiful. But like I'm getting to that loop around, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm ready. Where it's like, give me my next Halo, right? I need it. Let's make it happen. So yes, I'm hopeful that Halo is there. I really, really want to see it. But then aside from Halo, if you just think about everything that we know of that we still haven't seen more of, just the stuff that we know of is going to make this show like crazy, right?
Yeah.
If we see State of Decay 3 gameplay, if we see Perfect Dark gameplay, if we see Fable gameplay, if they go ahead and show, I'm sorry, Gears of War E-Day, if they show us some gameplay of that, right?
Crazy.
Just those 4 games alone, crazy. But then you have games that we kind of know about and kind of faded away, like Everwild, right?
Contraband is another one.
Contraband. Both games shown sign of life recently, right? Yep. We haven't heard anything from Everwild until right at the end of the last year when they put out a tweet and they said until 2025, right? So like they are clearly going to show us Everwild. There's no part of me that doesn't believe that that's going to happen. So I feel like Everwild is going to be there. I think Everwild is going to be a sneak hit, like a sleeper hit. Like we're not going to be expecting how good it looks. That's what I kind of feel from it. I think it's going to be, I think it could very well kind of position itself as like the Zelda, like the Breath of the Wild, right? They had that art style down pack, looks gorgeous. And you can kind of see that they had this idea of more of a bigger world where you have like these creatures and stuff. We don't know. Obviously, a lot of that stuff is more than likely changed. I know they changed the game for combat, right? So they're going to add all that stuff in there. So I think that this is going to be a bigger game. And it's from Rare, right? It's a Rare game. I know people forget that Rare, has made bangers in the past outside of Sea of Thieves. Right, they are the ones who created, Fable. They are, like it's time, right? It's been enough time. They've clearly been working on this for a long time. So I am very excited to see what that is. And then Contraband did the same thing where they kind of just started out of nowhere talking about hiring some people, right? They wanted to bring on more people for it. And so that game could also be in a position where they're going to show us more of the game. I don't know if that game is ready, but it'll be nice to see some of that, right? So even right there, you already have 6 games that would be exciting to see, right? And then obviously, there's a game that we know, but we're not going to see. I doubt greatly is Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
Right? So.
I mean, you could get like a teaser trailer, though, right?
I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. It's because if it's gonna be, it depends on when the launch of that damn system is, man. Because if it's 2027, I feel like they're gonna aim to make this 2027, right? Like I feel like they are gonna want this to be a next gen game, right?
Yeah.
Especially since what they did with Starfield, like, is crazy, right? But they essentially took this generation to the brink, right? Not that the next Elder Scrolls is not going to be on this generation, but meaning when they're thinking innovation, they're going to be looking at wanting to make a big bang on the next console. I feel so. If we can technically we can see a little something that they've been working on. And it could be just as little as just a walk through a town or something, and people will lose their minds. But that one will kind of, we'll see. But then there's so many other possibilities. You got Double Fine's game, right? They kind of alluded to the fact that they're going to be ready to show some stuff. When they did these projects with that 100-star, right?
Yes.
That deal they made. Did they make that deal because that game was already, further along and they got to see something exciting, so they took that deal? Or did they just take that deal like you guys are a talented bunch, we believe in you, let's work together? I feel like they had something already before.
Well, that's how it usually works with Phil Spencer, right? Like if you know some of the stories that went into the ideology of purchasing Playground was making a game that was an open world RPG they turned into Fable, right? When Phil visited Compulsion Games and they were early on with South of Midnight, they were like, yes, let's go. So a lot of the situations that you have as first-party studios now started out with a visit by Phil Spencer. Maybe that's something that's similar that happened here.
Yeah, it's very possible. And I feel like that will be the way that it happened. So we might be able to see that. Activision made Elsewhere, working on a game. Did they announce the name of the team after they already had a game, far enough to say, okay, we could put a stamp on this game. We could give it, the studio a name. Let's go. Or was that something where they just made elsewhere and it's like, okay, they're going to work on something. We'll see what happens.
Right.
I kind of feel like similar. I feel like why announce something if you don't already know that it has a game ready to go, right? Like I just feel like you're not going to want to risk announcing a studio and then they shit the bed, right? You already want to have like proof of concept that they already have something that looks really good. So I could definitely see something like that being shown. We know that Elder Scrolls Online, ZeniMax Online, though that team has been working on a new AAA experience, probably an MMO, but maybe they've been working on that Starfield
MMO.
Yep,
Imagine
the
that.
Starfield Online.
Blow the doors
I
off.
kind of feel like they have to make that, right? Like I feel like
I agree.
They have Fallout, they have Elder Scrolls. The third pillar is Starfield, so I could definitely see that happening as well. So I mean, there's just so much that if we just kind of think about it a little bit, can see possibly being there. And then on top of that, you just have the possibilities of everything else, right? Did they buy somebody? Did they lock in some deal with somebody and they're going to show us something? Who knows, man? I know we're going to see Ninja Gaiden, right? Ninja Gaiden 4, which is going to be dope.
A trailer just dropped for that,
They did show a little a sneak peek of it. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much. I just can't see this this year being any lesser than any other year. I feel like they're just going to be bigger and better. Last year's show was an hour, right?
Yeah,
and then it was a half hour for
Dev Direct right afterwards. Yeah.
So and obviously I'm leaving out Outer Worlds because we do know that Outer Worlds 2 is having the Dev Direct, right? So they're going to have their Dev Direct after the show. So question is, are we going to get like an hour show again? Or is there more that they need to show? So are we going to get like an hour and a half regular show and then the half hour Outer World? I mean, who knows? But I'm pumped.
I mean, if you remember the couple of things from last year, they said that the show was so big that they wound up having to cut it down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they may be more prepared for that now. The one thing I can expect that they're not going to say is temper expectations. I don't think you're going to see that, but
yeah, they didn't say that last year. So that's kind of like the thing that people like once you start seeing like a lot of rumors start circulating, if you don't see them come out and be like, hey, slow it down, guys.
Give me a second, see money. I gotta just step away for a second.
Yeah, no worries. If you don't see them say like, hey, check, chill. Oh, I saw that one too. They can't stop me. Clockwork Revolution. I don't even know how I missed them, bro. That studio is, they're so funny. They're so fun. Like their Twitter account is crazy. Like if you don't follow In Exile Twitter, you're doing it wrong. You definitely have to follow them. They're always doing funny stuff. Like I don't know if those guys actually work on games or if they're literally just fucking like social media people for them, but they're hilarious. They're really funny. And Clockwork Revolution, I think, is gonna be a banger. I don't know if any of you guys played Wasteland 3, but that's the last game that they worked on. And I was not a Wasteland fan at all. But I gotta tell you, that was an amazing game. I never ever play games like that, man. And they obviously it was on Game Pass, played it, loved it. Hilarious, funny ass writing, great storytelling. So it's not just comedy for comedy's sake. It's funny, but it's also telling a great story. They do choice and consequence better than most. Even like so far, like you could have essentially like ended the game almost like right in the beginning of the game if you just like shot the boss or whatever. Like if you just killed that guy, the game would have essentially ended right away. So like they just give you so many options in these games. It's crazy. It's crazy. They're so talented. And I mean ultimately that's what Xbox is now, right? Like they they have the talent to make the games that we all love and want to play.
Yep.
And they have the talent to make games that we wouldn't think we would want to play. But because of Game Pass, we don't have to be like, oh, I don't care about, this type of game. I'm not going to buy it, right? Like if you're a PlayStation dude and PlayStation makes Concord, you're like, I don't really
like
it.
that.
Doesn't look good. I don't want to buy it, right? And then that's it. The game's done, right? On Xbox, games can be made, and to your eye, it might not be your type of game, but because it's available, you play it, and it's great. Like I tell the story all the time, but like Our History Untold, Age of Mythology, these are games that we never would have played, but they were in Game Pass, and obviously Xbox hooked us up for review codes early, so we went and we did that, and we fell in love with these games that we would have never ever played. I wouldn't even have downloaded it, to be honest with you, on Game Pass. Like I would just be like, I'm probably not gonna like it, but I would have been wrong because we love those games, right? So this is the stuff that is the beauty of it, man. We just get to experience what we want to experience with the options that they give us. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
Well, that's the one thing about Xbox game studios that you have to appreciate is that they're not pigeonholed into making one particular type of game because they have so many studios, and that's why I think that this June, which is happening in a couple of weeks, folks. So you would imagine that the next couple of weeks we're going to be talking about this. Every panel, we're going to try and get everyone's thoughts, theories, predictions. We're going to do a prediction panel here and on some of the other bigger shows because I have a lot of thoughts on what I expect there. And again, folks, take it with a grain of salt. I keep hearing that it's going to be bigger than last year's. And again, that's really hard to understand because last year's was epic. And again, the show should run about an hour, maybe a little bit more. Maybe they up the ante a bit, add a game or three, and it's a 75-minute show, and then you get a half an hour dev direct. I think that's a good amount of time. And you get a continuation of the roadmap of what we know and some of the things that we don't know. So C Money picked Halo, and you know what? I got to mirror his thoughts because I think it's time. Now look, I don't expect that we're going to get a new Halo in the form of I've never seen before. He's fighting new enemies. It's a rebooted Master Chief. I don't actually think that's what's going to happen. We keep hearing the rumor, and again, folks, it's a rumor that they are remaking Combat Evolved and rebooting the series. Now, what does that exactly mean? Well, Combat Evolved is going to be Combat Evolved, but I think that what happens after Combat Evolved maybe is where they reboot the series. Now, do people want that? I honestly don't know. I tell you what I do want. As much as I love, and I have not been back to it in a very long time, Halo multiplayer, and I have days and days and days in it. Loved every second of it. But I'm addicted to Call of Duty, so I'll get back to Halo at some point. But honestly, what I need from Halo, and I think a lot of people will agree with me here, and C Money, I think you're one of them, is I want a story-based Halo. I'm sorry. I just want a Master Chief story, whether it's Combat Evolved redone in Unreal Engine 5 or it's a new tale for Chief in a rebooted fashion. I don't care. I want something story-based. I want a single-player experience with Master Chief. I think it's been way too long since since Infinite, which at this point is 5 years ago, right?
Agreed.
It's time for new.